Hey y'all, I'm JD and welcome back to the Dimensions Woodworks Woodshop. Today we're going to be working on a really special project for this year's St. Jude Dream Home. We're going to take these logs and turn them into something special. Let's go. So this was the first attempt at carving the stool, and I just attacked it off the rip with the chainsaw, trying to take out these triangular sections to form the legs. I used a combination of mostly the chainsaw and the angle grinder with this chainsaw-like blade on it to try to shape the stool. Then I took it back into the shop and used the flattening jig to flatten the top and the bottom. So after all that work and hand carving, I'm just not happy with where we are at this point. The shapes aren't symmetrical, and I believe the root of that problem is because I didn't start from a perfectly round log. So what we're going to do is start over. That sucks, but that's part of the learning curve on every project. So this is basically firewood, and we're going to start again. So because the accompanying piece to this is going to be made from pecan, I want to stick with pecan, but we have this log here that it appears as if two trees grew together side by side and then grew into one tree down the road. So we want to take off this second tree area here, and then we're going to use this primary part of the log and try to put it on the lathe and get it round and go from there. And this was the final method that actually worked out for the final process to carve the stool, because it allowed me to break that cylinder into equal parts. Lucky for me, I have an awesome neighbor that's also a wood turner. And he's got a lathe that's got a whole lot more capacity than my little lathe over in my shop does. So we're going to take the next step and get it on the lathe and then try to get that rounding process that we talked about so we can divide the piece evenly, and then we can go from there. Well, let's see if we can get this big hunk of wood on this lathe. By this point in the process, I could already tell that this idea was going to work quite a bit better. We could get those nice equal divisions of the cylinder, and we were going to have a much flatter top and bottom to start with because we're able to work those sides on the lathe.
Although we had a much better starting point, I still wanted to put the log on the flattening jig to ensure the top and bottom were dead flat. I used the compass to help me find center, then struck a halfway point, used a protractor and an angle finder to find where the rest of my lines needed to be, and set those layout lines, and then marked the negative waste area. A chainsaw is not the easiest cutting tool to control, and you don't get the best cut quality, but I tried to stay on the waste side of the lines and really take my time and take it easy to try to make sure that I stayed within the layout lines I'd given myself. After getting those three main triangles out of the cylinder down to where the seat of the stool was located, I wanted to cut away that inner material and remove as much of it as I could with the chainsaw. You can see I drifted a little bit on that very first cut, but I tried to work it back and shape it into a similar shape for all three legs. At this point, I was much happier with the overall shape than I was with the first version. It looks far more symmetrical. So I want to create these little arches between the leg spaces, so I just roughed out a given distance from the top and hand drew those arches. Began to carve that material away with the chainsaw. Also had a little electric chainsaw I used, and then again with the angle grinder and that carving bit, and as well as this shaping bit here. I used a lot of tools trying to get the shape of this thing down. You can see I'm going from grinding disc to flap disc to shaping disc to different sanders. This was just a very difficult space to try to shape, and I do not really have any power carving tools, so I used what I had on hand, and it took a lot of different combinations to get the shape I was looking for. I really didn't show a whole lot of the process with this live edge bath caddy. It's really just a flattened slab with the ends cut off. There are other videos on the channel that reference how I go into this in more detail, and I'll put some links in the description. I just wanted to show you guys just a little bit of the St. Jude Dream Home, the exterior of course, and then a little bit of the living spaces inside. Such a beautiful home, such a great cause, and I'm so happy to be a part of this process. As always, thanks so much for watching, y'all. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when we release new content. I've loved having the opportunity to work with our local home builder, Elliott Homes, on this St. Jude Dream project for the last 2 years. And check out your area's St. Jude Dream Home because they do these all over the U.S. and it does go to fund a really great cause in St. Jude's fight against childhood cancer. Thanks for sticking around until the end, and as always, don't forget to get better every day.